Con, pleasure to see you again. Always good to see your face, and really excited to have you on board with us here today. Just as a matter of introduction, Steve Egan, I lead our partnerships and alliances organization here at TechSee. Long admirer of TELUS International and everything you guys are doing. Really excited to have you in a discussion here with us today. So, I think as we look at kind of some of the market dynamics, some of the reasons that customers are adding visual capabilities to their ecosystem and their engagement models, in your perspective, I mean, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that now? And really, what are some of the benefits that you see as customers are starting to adopt visual technologies?
Yeah, you bet, Steve. And thank you for having me. It's always great to be part of the TechSee conversation and partnership. So many amazing things that TechSee is doing in the market around augmented reality. It's just a wonderful partnership to be able to work together. In terms of the why now, we're definitely seeing a significant shift forward as a result of the pandemic. Some would say that 5 to 7 years of change forced into about an 18 to 24 month window as it relates to how people are forced to do remote work or remote support. And that certainly has shown up in our business with our customers. And they're looking for ways of having richer interactions at a distance. Right. And so I would say that by and large, the market has had to figure out how to do things remotely. And for the most part, consumers have been patient in doing that because there was no alternative.
Right.
But now, as we have that return to normality, if you will, I think there's an expectation that remote support needs to be done better and actually have delightful outcomes, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where augmented reality is starting to really show up is that I can get the level of support remotely that I could get, in person before.
Just a few years ago, yeah.
Just a few years ago. So we're seeing that. This is why we're so excited about the partnership. Is that we are a digitally led customer experience organization that recognizes that our customers are looking for ways of having richer interactions with their customers, and so we really want to take advantage of that capability.
Yeah, and I think you touch on a few key themes there, right? It's the the customer expectations have just all but been thrown out the window, right? You look back 3 years ago, and as you said, we came to expect a certain experience, right? And the pandemic accelerated that greatly, and changed our buying behaviors, changed our engagement behaviors with other humans and the like, and it changed our expectations about what a good customer experience should look like. And I think that it's pretty easy to recognize that the way that a lot of brands have built their business, they can be very quickly and easily replaceable, right? It's banks have made it really easy to move from one to the next, and your service companies have made it really easy to switch from one wireless plan to another wireless plan, right? But so really, what's driving, I think, these behaviors, if you will, is that the customers are really measuring brands on that last best customer experience, or more to the point, the last customer experience they had, whether that's good or bad, right? So they've made it really simple to kind of transition in and out of brands. I've got a colleague of mine who's been on 4 wireless plans in the last year and a half, all different brands, and he's just he gets bad service, he moves to the next and the next, and so on and so forth. So I think as you look at or more to the point, as brands look at the best ways to ensure the last best customer experience that they can deliver, certainly the ability to reduce the friction, to improve that quality of service, and by extension improve that loyalty becomes exceptionally important, right? So visual capabilities, other capabilities within that kind of customer experience chain become really important to refine and to eliminate when and where possible that friction. So clearly we think that adding visual is a very important piece of that. It's a piece of that value chain that a lot of brands who are high in retention, high in operational efficiency and the like are really adopting very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the challenge, I think, for a lot of brands, especially when they have field support organizations that are needed to execute on the last element of service.
Yeah, that last mile.
That last mile, that they are the face of the service, the face of the brand. They, in many ways, have not been part of the digital revolution. Right?
No.
They have been in that truck or car, whatever the case may be, going out, working with the customer to implement the service, the technology that they have procured, and they're largely on their own. They're largely on their own. And so what happens? Well, it's people, right? So you have people who have different levels of expertise on different platforms, different releases, different procedures, and they can only do so much. And when they go out and they make a mistake, they may not even know they made that mistake, but the customer does the moment they leave in many cases.
That's
Oh
right.
no, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then they have to go through the whole process of reporting a problem and the like. Whereas now, I think this is the exciting thing about how TELUS is using TechSee for our own field organization, and why we're seeing other customers want to do the same, is that you get that expertise to that technician at the moment of need, right?
Just
So
in
they
time, sir.
look like a hero,
Yeah.
right? They're the one that gets to execute flawlessly, such that the customer experience is fantastic, and the outcome is exactly what the customer is hoping for: a working, well-oiled service.
Yeah, and I think you touch on a first and foremost, great points, right? But I think that there's something in there that I think it oftentimes goes overlooked, which is the that ability for that field technician, irrespective of where they sit on their experience journey, right? Guy that's a 1 month old, guy that's been there for 25 years, right? There's a way with adding visual capabilities and things of that like, to be able to ensure that the experience is consistent from one technician to the next, to the next, to the next, right? And again, 1 year, 5 years, 25 years, right? And what you can do is essentially define these outcomes, validate that that the work is done correctly through things like visual AI, through subject matter expertise oversight, through supervisor oversight, and be able to identify, okay, yeah, that blinking light shouldn't look like that. Here's how we're going to fix it. We're going to ensure a first-time fix rate, customers happy, business is efficient because they only had to be there once, and the next thing is the next thing versus having to come back and kind of redo it again.
Right, and I think that individual in the field, that technician in the field, having a sense of, I did this job right, and pride and engagement. I mean, that's one of the central tenets that TELUS International has with our frontline team members, is that we want to make them feel like they're heroes. We want to give them every technical advantage to be amazing. And we know when we do that, the customer that they're serving is going to feel it, right? That's the heart of great customer experience, is that the person doing the job is set up for success. And I think this is, when it comes to the field, that's one of the amazing parts of what TechSee does.
Yeah, and they're no longer alone. Right. I think, field service organizations, as you've kind of touched on previously, they kind of go out, and they come back. Right. And very, very rarely do you hear in the middle. Right. So, you give them a lifeline, you give them the ability to reach into their brain trust and get that real time visual help that ensures that they've got a link. They've got someone, with their hand on their shoulder saying, I got you. We can figure out what this is, without having to send another technician on site, without having to wait 4 or 5 hours for a part to be dispatched and things like that. Going in what you're dealing with, and you've got the right levels of support behind you.
And I think that the other side to it for us as well is that we have a lot of excitement around what TechSee can do for, we'll call it augmented support at a distance, right? For whether it's our service desk business, right, where we're providing customers, we're supporting our customers' employees in a help desk way. And now then you got a new hire who gets a new package of wires and cameras and all the stuff.
What the hell is this?
Right, exactly. So like in the past, when that didn't work, they phone into the help desk, they phone us, and then we probably have to send out a technician to go and help them. No longer, right? So we can help them figure out what cable to plug into what port, and do that in a way where the customer, the employee in this case, is delighted.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think there's a bit of novelty effect still, right? In a really positive way. So when we look at our next generation of service desk or help desk offerings, we definitely want to be folding in the TechSee story here.
Yeah, and I think as you look, I'm prognosticating a little bit here, but there's a large bit of reality in this, right? As you look at these types of visual engagements, this lifeline, if you will, both internal and external, that all becomes data. It all becomes things that can be used in future activities. We oftentimes hear of, AI is taking my job. No, AI is not taking your job. It's helping you do it better, right? So as you look at really the next couple of years with, certainly I'll stay in my lane in the visual, kind of service world, the ability to understand and classify and detect these activities that field technicians, customers, and the like are going through will provide, in our opinion, the ability to learn these activities and start to create automation so that the guy that's got the box of wires. Well, let's help him visually through a workflow build all this stuff together, right? And get that direct engagement that helps them get their job done faster, self-served, self-enabled. And when everything doesn't go as expected, and let's be honest with each other, it doesn't always go as expected. Sure. Be able to take all that knowledge, all that data, and have someone very quickly pick up on it and say, "Oh, I see where you left off. Let's just pick up from here." Work towards a really quick resolution, and away you go. So I see that kind of ingest, if you will, and that understanding about these human behaviors really help to simplify that field engagement, that customer engagement, and be able to take those learnings and automate them in such a way that you just don't have to have that human support always.
Right.
Your first path is self-serve. Your fallback is I'm going to tap somebody on the shoulder and they know where you left off.
Yeah. I mean, this is I talked about this before this recording. I look at it as the machine vision algorithms are able to call upon more and more objects, visual objects that they understand and has been quantified. So in our world, data annotation. Yeah. As that library becomes more and more robust, such that the camera sees something, recognizes what it is, the machine algorithm is able to execute on it, and then you have procedures that are carved out, created with visual aids. That's super powerful. As that becomes more and more robust, first of all, the self-service becomes way more of an option. And then as you have an elegant escalation into an agent who can follow that, so they can pick it up right at the moment of where the customer tapped out, and they have that procedural, that visually augmented procedural process to go down the path on. Like, we just think it's tremendous, because if you think about it, for brands out there that are selling things that require unboxing, and assembly, which is quite a few organizations, that is a challenge, right? You see a lot of returns happen, right? When you buy online,
no found errors.
Absolutely. And so now with TechSee and our support from as a CX experts, and understanding how to support the customer, that's again one of those things that really get us excited about the partnership.
Yeah, and there's something I kind of picked up on there that just this flash of where I think we can all go together. We talk about this kind of 360 view of how we engage the customer, how or more to the point, how the customer engages the brand, their products and the like. But as I'm kind of thinking about maybe the next iteration, what about hands-free? What about with glasses, right? Have a visual model in your glasses that says we're going to move from here to here, and here are all the steps that help you get there, and do it in such a way again that visual AI, that advanced set of instructions becomes a visual installation guide. Right? And or visual support guide, or whatever it may be, but really, really slick stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I do think that we're due for a bit of a leap forward when it comes to mobile computing and how we interact with systems through glasses. I think that probably, I mean, again, we've got one of our partners is Google, and they've got some wonderful examples of how Google Glass is helping with the assembly of machines, of farm implements, of healthcare as well. Like, there's some really powerful things that are happening with glass. And so when you start to combine that, when people have their hands free to do what they do best, and the technology sort of fades into the background, and we're going to see another blossoming of this use of this kind of technology.
Yeah, so let me see if I heard you right. Connected physicians, connected experts, all using their hands rather than their devices. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like. I've got one of the team members I support outside of Austin. He's got a working cattle ranch, and he had to assemble a tractor. If you can imagine, it came in pieces. Not a big tractor, but still a tractor nonetheless. And when you got to open up pages on a book to do that, that's a tough haul. But imagine if you were able just to use glasses and TechSee technology with support from TI as needed, then I think that's it's going to be a pretty cool time to be a part of.
Exciting stuff. Well, Con, really do appreciate your time today. I think obviously how much we love the partnership, and really looking forward to our next future, our 5 years together, and what we're going to be able to help customers with. So really, thank you very much for your time again today.
Thank you, Steve.